This is nuts. $850 million worth of capital in a single platform in less than a week.
And the timing couldn't be better, couldn't it? Like right now, we have so much attention on the Solana ecosystem.
Simon, what's the number one thing people have to know about Alpenglow? More stablecoins on Solana is a strictly good thing. But I don't trust the retards behind World Liberty Financial.
Welcome to Soul Brothers with my dear friend Eno and myself, Simon, where it is our job to throw you into the Solana rabbit hole and show you around in our exciting ecosystem.
Our mission is to take you on the latest and greatest on Solana so that you never run out of fun things to talk about. Simon, are you in Kyoto? Where the hell are you?
I am in Brisbane, Australia. Don't ask.
You're in Australia?
Yeah.
What the hell?
Yeah, it's a crazy life. You can't catch me, bro. You can't catch me. I'm always somewhere else.
Yeah, literally the last time I saw Simon was, I feel like on Thursday or Wednesday. We had like a really quick hug over in the subway station because it was completely serendipitous, by the way. I was on my way to the office. He was on his way to Kyoto, if I'm not mistaken. And now, literally just 3 days later, I expected him to be somewhere in Japan, and he says he's in Brisbane. All right, cool.
What feels like the end of the world, by the way. Have you been in Australia before, you know?
I have never been to Australia, although we do have some good friends over there. Do you have friends over in Australia?
I do have relatives of my girlfriend here, so that's the main reason why I'm down here.
Okay, yeah. She's got some Aussies in the family.
I mean, they're not Aussies, but they live here. So
I see.
You know, it's a country of immigrants, right? Which is funny because they keep protesting against immigration, which I find always funny in these countries that are like 90% immigrants, you know, over history. This was a piece of land with like just a few natives, like a couple hundred years ago. And then a bunch of people came here and kind of built the whole economy. And now those people are like, fuck immigration. Like, we need to close our borders. Like, but, you know, it is what it is.
I find that people fixate on immigration when they don't have a growth mindset, right? I don't think this just applies to immigration. I think this just applies to life in general. If you know how to create value, then you don't worry about someone else taking your job because you feel that you as a community or you as a person can create enough opportunity for everybody. And hopefully those opportunities that you take will be better so that, you know, your children are not working on kind of like this immigrant, and there is immigrant work, you know, the stuff that you have to do to work your way up. But if you feel like immigrants are competing for your job, then, you know, probably should be scaling up as much as you can, which is a very elitist thing to say. Someone from a very privileged background saying like, well, you know, like it's very easy for me to scale up. Why isn't it for you? I mean, like there are many valid reasons why it's difficult for people to scale up. But yeah, it's lack of a growth mindset, I think.
Just go on Elon's timeline these days and you will find lots of immigration content. It's always very amusing. He's literally like covering all countries currently. Yeah. Just pissing on immigration, taking a very right-wing stance. Crazy times, not gonna lie, very controversial topic right now. Lots of reasons for and against it. But luckily, we're not a political podcast. Thank God. We are a tech podcast. And I just read a comment in our comment section. Is Simon hosting from the closet? Bro, no, it's just a simple lifestyle down here. Let's put it that way. I'm in the suburbs of Brisbane. But we're a tech podcast, you know. We cover all the latest and greatest from Solana, from the Solana ecosystem. And this week is a big week. We have lots on the agenda. We're going to talk a little bit about World Liberty Financial and what the heck is going on right now. Today is Labor Day in USA. Markets are kind of paused. Still, we do have some volumes on the chart. So we're going to check the markets. We're going to check the charts. We're going to talk a little bit about September and what the expectations are for this month. Besides talking about the Trump family and their glorious next token launch. And besides that, we also have a very exciting topic, which is Alpenglow. We covered it last week already. the SIMD 0326 is basically now over. The proposal voting is over, and we're going to discuss the results and a bunch of other ecosystem news. So lots of stuff on the agenda, and I think it's a good time to just dive in. What do you think?
Yeah, no, I think it's absolutely a good time to dive in. Last week we were covering the Alpenglow governance process, which just got underway. Simon, what's the number one thing people have to know about Alpenglow?
So Alpenglow basically changes a lot of the core architecture on Solana that we have been enjoying the past years since mainnet launch, basically. So Alpenglow is literally replacing Solana's proof of history and Tower BFT with a new architecture. And why do we do that? Because we want to we want to increase bandwidth and reduce latency, which is right now literally written on my t-shirt. So the whole Alpenglow proposal is about getting 150 milliseconds finality, which is going to bring us close to TradFi and legacy financial systems that we have been using since a few decades now. And blockchains so far have not been able to compete with these legacy systems when it comes to finality settlement speed, right? And this upgrade now can push Solana's transactions throughput beyond its current 2,400 TPS, far beyond that. We already had some test runs with all the new developments right now happening on Solana, including Alpenglow and Firedancer and some other updates. We're reaching TPS of above 100,000 right now realistically, and even aiming at millions if everything goes as planned in the next years. So Alpenglow is a fundamental piece of that increase bandwidth, reduce latency agenda.
Yeah. I realize now that I might have jumped the gun a little bit here, and that's only because Alpenglow is the most exciting update to Solana's architecture in a very long time. But the part of the podcast that I actually forgot is TA, because I just started going into the podcast. I'm so sorry. So Simon, where the fuck are we this week?
Swing it.
Yeah, I'm a little...
I'm good to talk about Alpenglow. We're going to return to the topic in a bit. Let's check the charts. Let's give the people a little bit of comfort and talk about prices. So what we're looking at right now is the Solana chart in the 1 hour view right now. Looks kind of messy because of all my indicators. But if we zoom out, let's take the daily view, get rid of all the markers and see where we're at. Pretty much going sideways since a while. Not too many impulses to the upside, and it kind of matches the Bitcoin cycle we're in right now, because Bitcoin in this cycle has been, comparatively unexciting if you think about it compared to previous cycles, because we've seen 30% bounces up and down in previous cycles. We've seen much more violent swings, to be honest. So what feels like volatility this cycle is actually, compared to previous cycles, quite calm waters. And Solana is obviously showing a similar picture here. We've been kind of holding the $120 level here since beginning of last year, almost, and haven't broken down there. There's a really strong resistance down there, and we had one attempt to break to the upside, which was successful, and we reached a new all-time high at almost $300 earlier this year in January, and have been going only down since then, into the tariff low in April. And from the tariff low, we're now starting to recover into what I count in the macro cycle as first and foremost a wave 3. That's the wave we're in right now, an impulsive wave 3 that has been starting basically at the tariff lows with a wave 1 to the upside into May, a wave 2 into Fib level support, and also this kind of support line here drawn in yellow on my chart in June 25 at around $126, which was the last significant low. And from that level, from that wave 2, we've been going up into wave 3, and we haven't finished that wave 3 yet. We're still in that wave and have a bunch of subwaves that we can count there right now. I think we're still on our way up. That's the TLDR. If you want to know, if we're going to go down, is this market over or not? That's a long topic. We could talk about this a lot. I have a bunch of data actually, but we'll keep this maybe for later if we have time today, to talk a little bit about some macro data, some economic data from US coming in and so on. But the TLDR really is that I believe the cycle is not over yet. The top is not in. And we're right now actually finding support here in the current wave structure. We found support again at the 0.618, the golden ratio FIB level at $197. We went a little bit below, but that's all cool. I think we could see another drawdown until $192 ish, but I do feel that we are due maybe this week for another rally to the upside into a wave 3 of a larger, or a wave 5 of a larger wave 3. That we're basically in right now here. And I think, let's see what the price does. Like I said, today's Labor Day, so it's a bit calmer. I expect this week to have quite some volatility because there is a bunch of economic data being released this week from US that will most likely impact markets. So but I do believe that if we can hold this structural resistance right now, the first resistance level are literally here until $192, then we can directly go up. If we break through that, there's more resistance down here around the 184 level, where we printed the most recent low. If we can hold that, still okay, right? Only if we really fall through that. I think the level that I'm watching really right now would be below 173. I would start to rearrange things and think that we might be on our way into a larger correction, maybe throughout whole September. But as long as we stay above that, I think we can keep rallying.
You heard it here first, folks. Solana to $500, as predicted by Simon, by the end of the week. And if he doesn't, Simon's going to eat his hat.
Lucky, because I don't think that's going to happen. But I'd be happy to see that. I'd be happy to see that.
You'd be like, I'm going to close out a couple longs if you don't mind.
I don't even have a hat, bro. So think of something. Think of something else.
What? I heard you got a flash trade hat. No. Max told me that you got a flash trade hat. Don't fucking lie to me.
Actually, I do. I should actually wear it. Now that you say it, it's in the other room.
So returning back from TA. So anyways, bullish for our coins is essentially the long and the short of it. I also agree with Simon that I don't think we've seen the cycle top, but of course that's what you would say if you haven't made your bag yet. And so, and then going back to the fundamentals of what is going to make Salami worth 500, 1,000, 2,000 a token is the network itself, right? And so, big update from last week's situation. Last week, they had just started the governance process for Alpenglow. This week, 99% of the votes that were cast are in favor of Alpenglow. And not only that, we've reached quorum, meaning that we have the bare minimum amount of votes that are necessary in order for a vote to pass. It's just been, overwhelmingly in favor for Alpenglow. So that's a good thing, I believe.
Yeah, it's been a very straightforward decision, let's say, from the validators, because basically almost all of the validators that voted were for the proposal, right? So, and I think it's because the discussion in the forum, where usually the validators come together and they discuss the proposals. I guess there was a lot of consent that Alpenglow is good for most of us. And there's a few of updates inside of Alpenglow that are not only good for the network, but also good for validator economics, because they bring down voting costs, for example, which is one of the biggest costs you have as a validator operator. So I think that's also maybe one reason. There's a lot of validators that are like, hell yeah, we need to be faster on Solana. But there's also a lot of validators that are just like, hell yeah, I want to print more money, right? So whatever SIMD proposal we ship, if it makes the network better and helps me to be more profitable as a validator operator, it's kind of a no-brainer. So why would I vote no? So, right? I guess that's like some of the reasons why this was so straightforward this time with the vote.
Yeah. I mean, so these are some interesting stats, right? So theoretically, a decreased slot time of 150 milliseconds to finality would mean about a 40% reduction in MEV rewards from arbitrage and a 25% reduction in MEV rewards from sandwiches, right? So you have this 40% and 25% reduction from
Mm.
arbitrage and sandwiches, which I don't think all arbitrage is bad, obviously, and same with sandwiching as well. Maybe people do all think it is net bad, time and a place.
Mm.
But generally speaking, a reduction in both numbers is a good thing. So I could see
Yeah.
why. I mean, like, and also just everyone. Of course, everyone wants Solana to be faster. If Solana is faster, it means that it's more attractive to developers worldwide. More developers worldwide means more transactions on the network. More transactions on the network is good for validators. Period.
And the timing couldn't be better, couldn't it? Like right now, we have so much attention on the Solana ecosystem from all corners, from institutions as well, a lot. So I think if we really want to bring legacy tech and legacy financial systems to Solana, and make this blockchain not just this online casino where you can lose all your money and it's like so unserious, right? We need to prove our case here, and I think we can do it if the tech is even better than it is right now. There's still people saying that, right? Like if you go in some TradFi meeting room and they talk about, should we launch our crypto product on Ethereum or on a different chain, then Solana still gets sometimes kicked in the corner as this kind of unserious kid, that is just not really a feasible option for institutions. And we
Yeah.
need to get rid of that image. And I think we have a lot of advocates right now that
Yeah.
are pushing for a better image. And when the tech also improves, then we're definitely on a good way.
Yeah, I think one thing that's worth saying too is that sometimes I get blinded by my own Solana maximalism.
Yep.
And so I will get into conversations still, even in Tokyo. I was speaking to some ETH folks who want to develop on Solana, and they're like,
Mm.
"Yeah, but Solana goes down all the time," which is factually incorrect. Last
It
time
is
that
very
that
incorrect.
the network went down was a year and a half ago, but it doesn't matter, right? It
Mm.
doesn't matter how I feel, right? What
Yeah.
matters is how other people perceive it. And so really so L2s go down all the fucking time, but people don't talk about it. But it's like this Solana can never beat a theoretical downtime of zero, right? I'm not even theoretical, a practical downtime of zero, right? So when you think about just your average person and when they think about where to develop, they're like, okay, well, Solana hasn't had downtime in a year and a half, sure, but Ethereum hasn't had downtime ever. So
Mm.
something to consider. That's something that you have to be ready for. And I was a little bit flummoxed, and I actually got a little defensive. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, bro, that
Mm.
happened like a year and a half ago. Like the network has improved so much since then. Like I don't know why you're bringing. And then after that whole conversation was over, I'm like, yeah, I probably handled that a little poorly. Like I probably should have just been like admitted that that's true.
Mm.
But also talked about like the improvements that we have made as a network since then. That would have been the more rational response. I was not ready with the rational response though.
Come on, man! You should be able to have that discussion. You're one of our most our loudest advocates for the ecosystem. So
No, but I went
polish
too
your pitch,
aggressive.
bro.
Yeah, I know. I
Mm.
gotta polish it. I went too aggressive. I should have just been much more like, yes, that's true, but that's a year and a half ago, and here are the improvements we've made since then. Blah blah blah. Right.
At this point, I usually just shut up. Like when I have someone in front of me that is like, I had the same happening to me once, like a few times, like some MetaMask employee that was like still very very much focused on Ethereum stuff, and he was just talking like how Solana is gonna just disappear into nowhere, and there's nothing there for us really, and the whole go to market strategy for MetaMask like big mistake anyway. And I was just like nodding, just fucked off because sometimes you can't argue with them anyway. Like I want to have a fruitful conversation, like I want to learn something from it, but some people they just want to shit on Solana and be like, yeah, we're the best ones. Like we have the biggest balls on Ethereum. And I'm like, okay, whatever. So, but
I'd like to bring
anyway.
up a couple of comments here from Ginsu, our friend over at Soulflare. Banger TA. I agree. Simon always does the best TA in the space. I think the only TA that matters. And then Nick says, and then MetaMask joins Solana. Inevitable. I absolutely agree. Inevitable. So be so good that they can't ignore you. And speaking of being so good, they can't ignore you. Ooh, check out this little phone here. Holy crap. What's this, Simon?
Bro, I don't even know. Like Seeker season? Is it coming now? So Solana has been building a blockchain, right? Like that's where it all started. Now Solana is building mobile phones. That is already like a pretty significant step. And I think it's a very bold move, not gonna lie. I think a lot of people laughed at Anatoly probably when he first came up with this idea and launched Saga, which was probably a pretty poorly, you know, a pretty poor phone, I would say. Like a lot of people were not really excited about it back
Yeah.
then. They were just excited about the airdrops, but I haven't really seen people being excited about the actual tech and the phone itself and the quality and so on. Now, obviously, we have the second phone, which is an upgrade, which is a better one. It's cheaper and better than Saga, which is Seeker. And Seeker is right now getting really good attention, honestly. Like I see a lot of positive reviews on the timeline. A lot of people can't wait to receive their phone. Mighty Max, we see you in the comment section. My phone is currently in Germany, and I probably won't see it until Christmas or some shit, because I have to get to Germany to get it. But I can see on the timeline that a lot of people are excited about their phones. And I would like to learn a little bit more about Seeker Season, Eno. So let's dive into the thread that Solana Mobile here announced and kind of unpack what Seeker Season really means, because the phone, the hardware is one thing, but I think what's much more exciting is actually everything around it.
Yeah. So, I mean, everyone remembers that the Saga was essentially a failed phone until Bonk, as usual, saved the day. And I think they airdropped some ridiculous amount of Bonk tokens. And then that
Yep.
ended up becoming a very popular distribution meta for like a month. For a
Yeah.
month, there were a bunch of projects that are like, holy crap, Bonk got so much care and love and attention from the Solana team because they gave this free airdrop. Let's start creating our own, set of how do I put this? Incentive packages for Solana
Right.
Seeker for Solana Saga holders, and so people ended up getting so many NFTs, free airdrops, benefits to where it completely offset the cost of the phone. That was a very
Mm-hmm.
important go-to-market strategy for the Saga, which, if you remember, for the first few months felt like a failure. Uh,
Mm.
and so now for Seeker, I feel like because they understand that's such a powerful go-to-market strategy, they're repackaging that entire kind of like airdrop slash like incentive experience, for September 8th. So they've given enough weeks of time to start shipping these Seekers. And now they're going to be activating all the special rewards, early access, and benefits you'll only find in the Solana dApp store starting in September 8th. So about a week from now. So, what kind of
Mm.
activations will we find during Seeker season, Simon?
So I think. Wait a second. Should we use the thread from mobile or the Solana Flow? Because there's a really good article actually on solanaflow.com. So maybe that's something for
Sure,
people to dive into as
sure,
well. If you want to learn more about the Seeker and the Seeker season, then
sure.
definitely check out Solana Flow as well. And yeah, so basically we have a bunch of apps that are already waiting to be explored in the App Store of the Seeker, and that's actually it's actually really cool. Like you have like a whole ecosystem map of the apps to explore over there, and I think it is probably worth it playing with them and diving into some of them and using them as well. And yeah, I think what I'm asking myself is right now is if you own a Seeker, do you have to actually activate it and use it to be eligible for stuff, or is it enough to just own it and then activate it whenever, right? Because they say after receiving your Solana Seeker, double check that you followed all the steps in our Solana Seeker setup guide that says Solana Floor, minted your Seeker Genesis token, and claimed your SKR address or Seeker ID. So there's a few things you should probably do when you get the phone. So there's also a really neat article that says how to set up your Solana Seeker, a beginner's guide that kind of walks you through it. And probably a good idea to do that. So in my mind, I'm a bit afraid now because I don't have my phone. It's just laying around in Germany. So what do I do? I should probably get my hands on it, right?
Yeah, you should probably try to figure out how to get that Seeker phone as soon as possible because if I do not have confidence that these rewards will last forever, and even if they do, the economic opportunity that it represents is probably something you would rather get your hands on now rather than later.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Good to know, guys. That should be a message to all of you guys. Um, But yeah, it's pretty cool, man. You set up your own SKR address, so basically you're getting a domain for your phone as well, for your phone wallet. You have the Seed Vault wallet, which is basically a piece of hardware that that the phone also contains. It's designed by Software, and yeah, it's a mobile-first wallet app that's natively integrated with the Seed Vault, combining the highest level of mobile crypto security with a brilliant, smooth UX. So that's really cool as well. You can basically don't need a ledger anymore. Technically, you can use your Seeker, your phone, as your ledger. Opens up a few controversial security risks, in my opinion, because usually the ledger stays kind of somewhere safe while the phone is always with you. And obviously, if you lose the phone, that's still cool, because no one will be able to access your wallet without the proper credentials, right? So I actually don't know how the Seeker is set up, but I think there's a fingerprint. There's like some biometrics that will
Yeah.
gate access to the wallet.
Yeah. It's not so much the security risk that really bothers me about the Seeker. What's bothering me about the Seeker right now is this SKT token or
Yeah.
SKR. Yeah.
SKR.
Why? Why?
Like, we don't know yet exactly, but there's a threat by on the Solana mobile page. We can try to dig it up as well, but they talk a little bit about the secret token. But it's one of these token threads that are basically just saying, the TLDR is, it is one token to power it all, and you don't really know exactly what it does. But it will be utilized for the phone. Let's see. It is. I still think people kind of miss the whole news a little bit, because it's a token that has been launched by Solana, the second token besides Sol, right? Yeah.
It hasn't been launched yet, to be fair. So like, there's not a lot of noise around. But when it does launch, that might be something that our friends over at Meteora will want to DLMM. That seems like a fun LP. But SKR powers economy, incentives, and ownership across the ecosystem. It's a flywheel between developers, users, guardians, and hardware manufacturers. Okay.
Still, it doesn't really tell us what exactly it is. That's what I mean. Like, the TLDR of the token thread was a bit, a bit icky. I didn't really give us everything. But I guess there's going to be more news coming out. And it's going to be grand.
I'm not against tokens. It's just like, what is it? Is my only question, right? Is it like value accrual, or is it some sort of incentive? I don't know where we are in the. I feel like I lost the plot a long time ago for meme coins and tokens. For a while, it seemed like just a fun little attention grabbing mechanism, and for DeFi protocols, it's very much like value accrual through buybacks. You're not supposed to say that, but because that makes it a security. But we all fucking know what we're doing here. And then SKR is like, okay, well, is the phones always going to be called SKR then? Like, are we going to have Seeker 2, Seeker 3? Because like this happens all the time, right? You have the iPhone 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. But there's clearly a difference, but they rebranded from the Saga to the Seeker. So is like the Seeker now like just the name of the product line? I have questions here about what does that mean for the token? Really, really interested to see how that goes. I
am pretty sure that the Seeker token, the SKR, is gonna be inserted into Solana Mobile in the long run. Obviously, like, I don't think it's gonna stop with the Seeker phone, right? There's a video. Maybe we can link that. Again, shout out to Solana Floor. I'll drop it in the comment section of the stream. General manager from Solana Mobile, Emmett, breaks down the SKR flywheel, the native token powering the Solana Mobile Seeker phone, at Solana Accelerate 2025, where he basically gave a 4-minute pitch about it. And I guess that would be a great starting point to dive into it.
Yeah, this feels like this is like something I'd like to work into the show in the future. It's just like watch a video together and like be like, okay, how do we think about this? Is that bullshit or not?
Yep. Yeah, good point.
Uh,
Good point.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
but people can check it out on Solana Flow. I also post a link in the comments here, so you guys
Yes.
can check it out.
I will
So
actually
no
be
no Soul Brothers watch party right now, but
yeah.
maybe next time.
The next major announcement that we have is Huma. So Huma is announcing its season 1 airdrop. Since the season 0 airdrop, which I didn't even know that was a thing, but I know
Mm.
they had an airdrop previously. I also knew that they had an airdrop in Japan because we were at a dinner and then they were like, "We gotta go." And it's like, "Why?" It's like, "We got season 1 airdrop." I'm like, "Didn't you already do season 1?"
Mm.
Apparently, that was season 0. But this is also true. Huma has done 6 billion in PayFi transactions to reward LPs and Huma stakers, which is absolutely phenomenal. And
Mm.
in terms of the snapshot, they did a Kaido AI snapshot on August 26th, a season 1 snapshot on August 23rd. So that would be just about a week ago. And you can be claiming your rewards on August 26th and September 26th until October 26th. So basically,
Mm.
you got about 2 months until this is all everything that can be claimed has been claimed.
Yeah, that should be enough time, honestly.
Yeah. That is quite a bit. So they're giving away 2.1% of the total token supply. 68% is going to, man, they missed opportunity. They should have done 69%. 69% to LPers and Huma stakers. 22 should have been 21% to ecosystem. I think the ecosystem partners would have taken 1 less percent for the memes, and then, and then
Probably.
community and yappers 10%.
Yep.
So,
I mean, yeah, Yuma's great. The product's cool. PayFi is big. They are pretty deeply embedded in the Jupiter ecosystem, as I did some collaborations before.
mhm.
The thing they just do quite a lot of airdrop distribution, and there's kind of a cliff right now between projects. Some projects are strictly against free incentives
Yeah,
and basically not giving out any tokens for free. And then other projects are using their tokens for community engagement and incentive campaigns to basically bootstrap their TVL, like the way we kind of did it since the beginning of point seasons, right? In Solana, which is not that long ago, has been like 1-2 years now. But I always had some issues with these kind of tactics. Like you're allowed to give out a few tokens, in my opinion, but it does feel like it is quite a chunk. And you got to be careful. That's just what I want to say. I don't want to be too picky here, but you got to be careful because obviously watching at the chart as well, like there's quite some selling pressure, right, that comes from these airdrops.
yeah,
Because honestly, like there's a lot of airdrops that have been negative, right? Like there's
yeah,
like a big list of airdrops that got airdropped, and then if you hold on to the airdrop for like a month or 2 or 3 or 4, you're just like in minus more and more. And this narrative is now quite deeply embedded into the minds of people,
yeah,
which makes it even worse because people are realizing that they should probably sell what they get to realize returns and profits for their work, right? Basically, the airdrop farming they did prior to the season
yeah.
finale, and that anticipation of the season finale and to just sell your bags is dangerous for the token because it's just like a lot of net selling pressure without huge net buying pressure that comes
Yeah.
into the chart. So
I agree with that. I think the most important thing to note here is whether or not it's a revenue generating business or not. So
mm,
like that matters because at some point in time, if you're generating enough cash, then you're just gonna buy back your token if it's cheap enough. You just don't give a fuck because
mm,
it's like, okay, you guys dumped
yeah,
my token all the way to like 50 million market cap, but like I'm generating like almost like 100 million in revenue. This is fine. Like I will absorb this sell pressure. And I'm not saying
mm,
that that's what Huma is doing this time around. But
mm,
I
mm,
I think that for teams that don't have a solid source of revenue, you actually have to be super conservative
mm,
about how you ration out your token incentives. But for
yep,
teams that are making a shit ton of money, I think the attitude is who cares, right? I'm not
mm,
saying that
mm,
Herbal and Richard are like that. I'm just saying that they can afford to be like this. because at any point in time, it's like, if you dump my token hard enough, it just makes it, there's actually financial incentive for me to just like, fine, I'll buy it all back at a discount. Thank you very, very much for not having faith.
Yep, it's true. I remember there was, like, I think Tony just posted about it last week or something. I probably won't be able to dig up the post anymore, but I did. He said, I think every token should have staking and distribute buybacks to stakers instead of burning. I'm just looking at dump empirical evidence. Protocols with staking tend to be sticky, like all the other ones. Maybe towards long-term holders, so the short-term ones get rotated out. So we're getting pretty deep into the midst of tokenomics and token utilities right now, at the example of Huma, basically. But yeah, totally kind of observed this as well in the ecosystem and said, alrighty, like if you give out tokens, sure, cool, but there needs to be some sort of stickiness and supply sync for your token. And this can be a staking that distributes buybacks to stakers instead of burning those tokens, because then they're just gone, right? I think there's a lot to discuss in this tweet. Won't dive deeper into this right now, but I think it's something to keep in mind right now when evaluating tokenomics and token projects.
Yeah, I mean, it's just all about financial incentives, right? So for the Sol token,
Yeah.
it makes sense to accumulate more because it's a stake weighted quality of service network. And so what that means is that the more stake that you accumulate, you literally just make more money as a validator. And obviously, as an L1, there is utility in the L1 that is not on the application layer. Literally, you are creating new blocks for everybody. And so, of course, there's going to be MEV rewards and block rewards and inflation rewards that are all paid out to validators. But that is actually an ingenious way to get people to stake their Sol. Because it's like, look, you could sell that Sol immediately, but actually, if you as a validator are accumulating more Sol, you will actually earn more money per Sol the more Sol you put into your validator. The rich get richer. The more Sol you stake, the more money you will make. And do you believe in the long-term future of this network? If you do, then it doesn't make sense to sell your short-term bags right now, because you stand to make more money, more than the value of your Sol bag today, simply by staking, right? So that's like the napkin math. And also implicit in this is that, like, at any point in time, if you choose that you no longer want to be developing here, you could just sell your entire fucking bag, and you will be richer for it, right? So can we get L1 utility and staking rewards and inflation mechanics baked into everyone else's project? That's a super interesting conversation, right? Like, what could you do with the Solid token? What could you do with the Cloud token that would literally create new utility for your protocol, right? Even if it's like, what's the equivalent of running a validator but using it with the Cloud token or using it with the Solid token? That's super interesting to think about.
Yep. Good discussion, but we do have more news from the ecosystem on the timeline, so we got to proceed. What's next? What's next up?
Yeah, next up is that we have Time.Fun has released a new mobile application. I know that there are a lot of interesting people on Time.Fun, including Ansem, ZeroX designer, Tiffany Fong, our very own Cash Donda. They're all on the Time.Fun app. So, in fact, I know people like Mert are using Time.Fun as a filter for all the spam that they get. You and I are obviously well known in the ecosystem, but we're not at Cash or Mert's level where we have hundreds of thousands of followers and hundreds of people DMing us every day. And so Time.Fun is a really good way for people who have a lot of inbound message traffic to filter out the spam for Signal, right? So congratulations to Cause and the entire Time.Fun team for creating the mobile app. Have you ever used Time.Fun?
I have an account and I have played around with the app, but I haven't yet booked an actual slot with someone I want to talk to. Maybe I should, but yeah, it's just like, it is quite expensive to talk to the big dogs. If you wanna have a 30-minute call, with Tony Mert or someone like this, it gets quite pricey, and I'm still too self-confident probably to spend that money. I'm like, oh, I can catch these people without paying the money, which is a stupid thought because it makes sense. Like, the app does make sense, right?
Yeah.
So I like it, and I'm happy they have a mobile app because it makes things much more sexy. Not gonna lie,
Yeah.
looks really cool.
I'm actually probably going to download the Time.fun app right after this call. I want to experiment with it a little bit.
Yeah.
We also have another piece of news here, Simon. So you can use the SolCypherBot on Telegram to trade drift perps on the Telegram bot, which is, I think, a first. I haven't seen that before.
Damn.
That's pretty sick.
Yeah, that's actually pretty sick. Haven't seen it neither, really. I mean, we do have the Bonkbot team that has been pioneering Telegram trading since a long time.
Yeah.
Moving from Bonkbot to what's called telemetry, I think now, the main product. But it's spot trading, and it's mainly used for meme coins, right? To snipe meme
Yeah.
coins early and get in and get out. But perps is kind of a new use case. Not super sure how useful I personally think it is. Honestly, I always have like a slight issue with these Telegram bots because, but I know I'm wrong. But I do have like my instinct tells me that they are not ready for mass adoption and they can be at any point. It's just a bit clunky to use these mobile kind of flows, especially for buying tokens, spending money, and stuff. I think it's a really decent thing to do. So, but that might be the thing. Like that's the target audience, degens. And obviously, Bonkbot has proven us that you can make a shitload of money with these products. So that's why I'm wrong.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it just speaks to the audience. And you hit it right on the head when you said you don't think you would find value in it. I don't think you're saying at all that you don't think that other people wouldn't find value in it. It's just that,
Of course, that's why I'm wrong.
Yeah. Well, I mean, our mental model of the world is always going to be based on what we think, like how the products that we use. And sometimes you run into products where you're just like, look, I get why this is like TikTok. I 100% understand why TikTok is popular. I also cannot use TikTok. I get cancer. I get literal cancer. I just can't. It's just too much, bright lights and, brain rot. And I get why it's popular, but it just doesn't mean
You're
that I have to
fucking
engage.
boomer. Bro, you gotta be with the cool kids these days.
I'm not cool. I've never.
If you say the sentence, you're a boomer, by the way.
Yeah, I know.
If you use cool kids as these two words, then you're a boomer.
Yeah.
But I'm with you. I hear you.
Another really cool update for our friends over at Jupiter. Holy shit. They have launched Jupiter Lend over the last week. We've obviously been talking about it for a very long time. I know that some of the internal goals at Jupiter, get this, all they wanted, of course, over time to make this the biggest money market on Solana, but the initial target for launch was $100 million, Simon. That was the initial target for launch. Yeah, it was. It was.
That is so defensive. That's
well,
so
I mean,
controversial. That's like,
they
are
were
we gonna make it?
Yeah, I mean they were targeting, and this isn't. It's funny that this promotional video, usually in a promotional video, you give your like best stats. USDC, they're showing APRs there of like 8%. That's not even remotely accurate. Like right now, APRs for USDC on Jupiter Lend are 9% and above. Over the weekend, it was hitting double digits, over 10%. Obviously, as more capital comes in, the incentives will be diluted amongst all lenders of USDC. And so those numbers aren't going to last forever. But Jupiter Lend has fucking smashed it out of the park. They have $750 million like in TVL for Jupiter Lend. That's
850.
Is it 850 now?
Yeah, I just want to give you
Bro, holy shit!
So that post must be from yesterday or some shit, right?
This post is from Saturday.
Yeah, here you go. Yeah.
Oh my god!
Like, over the weekend, they just added another 100 million to it. So I think we're going to see 1 billion this week. I'm not going to lie.
Simon, what are we even doing with our life?
You just need to build money markets. You just need to build fucking DeFi. That's it. But I mean, you have to also admit that the company you're working with these days also has a fucking high TVL on Solana, and one of the top protocols in terms of TVL.
I mean, yeah, for sure. But I mean, it's just I refuse to get desensitized by numbers like this, because
Mm.
if you work in this industry for long enough, like, it's just like, 500 million here, 200 million here. But like, I think we just need to be objective for a second, be like, this is fucking nuts. That's crazy. Like 850 million dollars worth of capital in a single platform in less than a week is
Mm.
what the heck? I mean,
I mean, it wouldn't have been like A, it's only possible on Solana, and B, it's only possible on Solana right now. Like you wouldn't have been able to pull this off probably like a year ago or something.
no.
We do have the tech, we do have the attention right now in the market to pull such money in. We have enough whales that trust the DeFi platforms we have. Obviously, Jupiter Lend is the brand name strong, the audits are there. Fluid, their partner for Lend, is a strong company as well, providing the tech. So it all checks out.
Yeah. Jesus.
Shout out to Jup Lend. Good job so far, and let's keep printing. Let's keep getting these numbers in. Obviously, this is a sign that the product kind of makes sense to a lot of people, because yields are just really good right now, especially for your stable pairs. If you want to have a stable kind of low risk yield, then probably one of the best ways to park your money right now, even though there's a lot of juicy opportunities right now on Solana to get yield on stable coins and similar risk levels, I have to admit.
I think that there's been a string of pretty, I'll be honest with you, crappy launches from the Jupiter team. I won't name those products, but I feel like they didn't really get the attention that they deserved. I'm just glad that Jupiter Lend was executed on an extremely high level, like a really high level. So I'm very, very happy for the Jupiter Lend team, and congratulations, guys. for all your hard work. Yes. Moving on, of course, we have SNS. Our friends have created this new campaign where you can get your .sol domain with your SNS token, and it's a 5% discount. So that's actually pretty sick. And you have these nifty little blinks over here. So if you type in your domain, let's say cocaine.
That's taken, bro.
German.
Oh, that's not taken.
Energy. Like so. I'm not going to connect to my wallet because I don't want to dox it. But yes, you could buy your .sol domains using SNS tokens, just 5% off. That's really sick. Also. MetaMask now speaks .sol. So this is actually a really big one. Our friends over, and you were just talking about MetaMask, but not only do they support Solana, but they also support .sol domains. So this is really sick. Using your MetaMask wallet, you can now send monies, your internet magic monies, to .sol addresses, and also receive them as well.
Yep, that is the one and only thing SNS needs to focus on, and they got that. The BD team is integrations, right? These domains are only useful if you can use them in as many different places in the ecosystem as possible. So their BD team is really just pushing for integrations, and then their DevRel team is pushing for making it easy to integrate, so that you can see your .sol domains when you log into an account, and that you can use your .sol domain to make transactions in all major wallets on Solana. Obviously, MetaMask is a big one, and they've been on Solana now since a while, and they are still, I think, in the middle of their go-to-market basically to Solana. So there will be more and more and more pushes and partnerships with other Solana projects, and SNS is one of them. So yeah, I think it's a really useful information for you. I think probably more than 80% of our viewers have a .sol domain. I'm pretty sure, that is a guess, but I'm pretty sure that the majority owns a .sol domain and potentially even uses it frequently to receive and send money. So knowing that you could technically use your MetaMask for that is definitely a useful info as well. Even though I think that 99% of our viewers as well have either Jupiter Mobile or Software, or even Phantom, because they're very Solana native, right?
Right.
Yep.
So something really interesting happened, I think, a couple of days ago, but I wasn't able to tune into this. I don't know if you were able to, so I'm not going to put you on the spot here. But apparently, they had a full broadcast over at the kitchen with obviously Nifty Degen and Celine. We had a great time speaking with them, a few weeks ago. and they had a live broadcast to discuss, what are the plans for the SNS token from
Mm,
start to finish, right? So one of the things that you're already seeing is this experimentation of using SNS as a currency within the SNS economy, right? So this is going to be the domain economy. Is
yeah.
there anything else that you'd like to add here? I'm not quite. I wasn't able to catch this.
I would just like to add that people shall listen to the broadcast. Obviously, it was live, but it's still on the page of SNS. So people should check it out if you want to get a little bit more insights into the future of SNS and where the CEO sees the company going. Then you should probably check that stream out.
Aha. Yeah, probably want to check this out later.
Mm-hmm.
This seems like a lot of fun.
Yep. Yeah. So it's still on their profile page, so people can find it at
Yeah.
the SNS Twitter.
hmm
Yep.
We had a really fun interview with Ohm over in Tokyo. Is there anything you want to share from that interview? I mean, we got to get to know her a little bit more as a person. Like we know her personally, but
Mm.
it's like it's a little weird to kind of interview your friend about themselves in front of camera when you kind of already know the answers, but at the same time, like you need to ask because that's the job, and other people don't know. So it's like you need to present
Mm-hmm.
them. But it was nice. I wish we had more time.
Mm.
But because she's just really interesting, I like speaking
Mm-hmm.
with them.
Yes, I think we'll do more of this. But I do think that this content piece is gonna provide a lot of value to people that are even if you're not interested, shame on you, in SNS and in .sol domains, you still want to check out that interview once we push the polished EP out. Because I think there's a lot of wisdom and inspiration in there for leadership, for company culture, for building startup in crypto, as a male or especially as a female in this case. And a lot of anecdotes what it means to be a Thai, a Thai woman building in crypto, because
Mm.
that's her cultural background, and I think some of her cultural identity is part of her leadership style as well, which is really interesting. So I don't want to front run the EP, so maybe some of you guys listen to it live because we usually live stream these recordings, but there will be a polished EP as well on YouTube and on our podcast channel that everyone can listen to once it's out. But it was definitely a fun one. So look out for that one. We're going to post it most likely this week, latest next week.
Yes. And last but not least, the piece de la resistance, the piece of news that we wanted to talk about the most. USD1 is now live on Solana and is launched by our frenemies, World Liberty Financial. I do not know how I feel about this one, Simon.
I mean, last time these fuckers launched a token on Solana, Solana went up immensely. So so that's the positive thing about it. Like usually
Yeah.
when Trump and Trump family launches something and they pick Solana for it, it is good. Okay, let's look at the bright side of life first, because they could launch that thing on any chain, right? They could go on Avalanche and provide USD1, but obviously they don't because no one gives a shit, and also the tech is probably not there. But we do have a lot of stablecoins on Solana, and there's a lot of stablecoin utility on Solana, and a lot of people use stablecoins on Solana, and USD1 wants to compete. USD1 wants to compete with Circle's USDC, Tether's USDT, and all the other maybe even yield-bearing stablecoins we have on Solana. And USD1 is coming as some sort of, well, political stablecoin, I would say, that is supposed to bring professionalism from the US government, which is an interesting case. So I think let's make sure for the listeners to distinguish between USD1 and WLFI, stupid ticker, by the way, World Financial Token. There are two things, right? You have USD1, which is just stablecoin pegged 1-to-1 on the dollar, backed by assets that can replace the dollar fully. And if you trust the US government, that's the thesis. If you trust the US government, then you trust USD1, right? If you trust the US government more than offshore Tether company structure, then you're going to use USD1 instead of Tether, right? So that's kind of the pitch for the stablecoin. I don't hate it. I think it's the stablecoin is all right. But happy to happy to hear your controversial thoughts as well when it comes to USD1 and why we might not need it on Solana.
No, I mean, more stablecoins on Solana is a strictly good thing. Um, but I don't trust the retards behind World Liberty Financial. And to be clear, they are class S tier retards, right? This is the same team that was doing great with the Trump launch and could have stood to earn hundreds of millions of dollars in fees without selling a single token, just
Mm.
by providing protocol-owned liquidity (POL) into the Meteora DLMM. These guys could have made hundreds of millions of dollars in fees because,
Yeah.
I mean, there is no better KOL in the world than Donald fucking Trump. As much as I hate the man, I cannot deny his ability to attract attention to the things he cares about, right? These
Yep.
same idiots bought a domain for Melania's token,
Mm.
uh, within 24 hours of the launch, and then had launched her token like by the end of the weekend or whatever that was. It was like within 72 hours they'd launched another token, which
Yep.
it did a couple of things. It spooked people because it was perceived as very extractive, and it was.
Mm-hmm.
And two, it like drained whatever liquid, like people who missed out on Trump, they ended up trying to ape into Melania, so it fragmented the liquidity. They basically took the best liquidity event ever. Like
Mm-hmm.
if they had just let that run for a month,
Mm-hmm.
let's say, right? Trump would probably be, the token itself would probably be at like $200, $300. Maybe I'm just making shit up, but Trump could easily have been at $200 or $300 at the end of that month. They could have earned hundreds of millions of dollars in fees, right? Legal, clean, didn't have to dump on anybody, right? And it would have brought so much trust into the crypto ecosystem. Like people, their first experience wouldn't be, we could have all won together, right? Where
Yeah.
Trump team is happy, they don't have to dump, they got so much money on fees. We're happy because idiots like us like aped into Trump super early, and then because we're on Solana and we pay attention to news all the time. And newbies, they might not be happy because the investment is not like 10xing, but they certainly don't feel unhappy because it hasn't like rugged, and that's when people get unhappy, is when it rugs.
Mm-hmm.
They're just incredibly short-sighted, stupid people. And also, we know for a fact that World Liberty Financial, which is essentially Eric Trump's organization, he is 100% Ethereum maxi. Any move that you see World Liberty Financial doing on Solana they're using us. They're using us as a distribution channel. They do not believe in Solana as tech. They don't believe in Solana as culture, and they don't believe in Solana as the future of finance, at least in the United States. They're 100% Ethereum eggs in their basket. So I don't trust them. I don't like them. I think they're incompetent. And I know our friends are working with them, but fuck World Liberty Financial. I don't know.
But this time it's gonna be different, right? Right?
That's good.
WorldLibertyFinancial.com, you can actually see what they are up to. They are the place where DeFi meets TradFi, whatever the fuck that means. And they are launching a token called WLFI, which is the governance token, and it is community governed. WLFI token holders are the ones steering the future of the platform by proposing, reviewing, and voting. And you know who owns the most WLFI? Trump and his family and everyone around them. So there has been a few people already looking into that. And obviously the token is pretty centralized, centralized, distributed between the Trump family and related companies and institutions. I think Trump himself is holding $6, $7, $8, $9 billion worth of WLFI right now at this moment, which is quite a substantial amount. So, but it's community governed, and they are cooking. They're cooking. They have an app coming soon. They have lend and borrow coming soon. They have an exchange coming soon. And obviously, they have trade WLFI soon. For everyone who's listening into the pod right now on the 1st of September, you can already trade futures of WLFI on exchanges such as Maxi or some others. There's like a few exchanges that already listed the token.
Yeah.
The token price already moved, obviously. It did move into mostly up right now. It is not fully launched everywhere. The spot token comes to Ethereum and Solana, if I'm not mistaken. So Solana, I've seen the one of the guys from World W posting today is going to happen tomorrow around 12 p.m. Australian time. I have no idea what that is in other countries, but That's what I've seen when the token is coming to Solana pools. And yeah, I think it might be a shit show, but it might also attract a lot of actual capital again.
I don't know if it'll be a fiasco. It is a stable coin. I'm really curious to see who the issuer of the stable coin is. I mean, a lot of folks are just going with like Paxos, right? Paxos is the same organization that's running USDG. They formerly did Binance USD. They also do PayPal's USD products. So they're like a white label stablecoin solution for the biggest players. And so if you're telling me that USD1 is issued by Paxos, I'd actually be quite happy with that because I don't want any of Trump or his dumb children to be running my stablecoins. I think they would fuck it up. But if you have a third party organization like Paxos, then like I feel much more safe about holding and using USD1. I'm really, but if yeah, I mean like that organization doesn't know shit about stables or how to maintain a peg, so like it clearly would have to be an issuer.
Just let's make sure, first of all, let's make sure to not mix up both tokens, okay? For our listeners as well, there's WLFI, right, which is the governance token. That is not a stable coin. That thing is going to go up and down, probably. Yeah. And then we have USD1, which is a stable coin, which is not supposed to go up and down and more down. This one is supposed to be stable, right? The issuer of USD1 is World Liberty Financial, which is, well, a crypto venture linked to Donald Trump. So yeah, you gotta trust these people to hold USD1, unfortunately. And it is integrated already in DeFi protocols like Radium, Bonk, and Camino as of now on Solana. And the Solana main account has been posting today as well. As you can see on my screen share, if you have the video as well. Breaking news, World Liberty USD1 stablecoin is now live on Solana. USD1 is a stablecoin redeemable on a one-to-one basis for the US dollar. As all stablecoins, by the way, that are USD pegged. So yeah, this is there. Solana reposts, obviously, it is kind of a big thing for them as well. And the WLFI token, that's a different kind of story. Like that could be a fiasco, similar to Trump and Melania. But only time will tell. And I have seen a few people that have positive takes on it. For example, if you want to pull that up, there has been a post from Virtual Bacon, who's doing a lot of crypto content and token content as well. He posted this already a few days ago. And he said, I've already bought a 7-figure position. Here's what WLFI is, why it matters, and my price prediction. And he tells us a little bit about the background. He tells us that it launches today on the 1st of September. And it starts to trade on Binance. The announcement was out already. And there's a 20% liquid unlock and an 80% vested allocation for people that did the pre-sale. And Virtual Bacon himself, he did buys at few price positions in an average of 0.28. Last week, the current price was at 0.25. I think by now he should be in profit. He says that he's expecting the token to go to $1, which would mean 100 billion FTV, which would basically double the FTV of, I think, tokens like Sui or similar tokens that are already, been around for a while. Why? Because it's Trump's meme coin, no utility, barely promoted. Trump's meme coin was barely promoted, had no utility, and it peaked at 73 billion FTV. And WLFI is official, tied to treasuries with Trump now in office. So Virtual Bacon says credibility plus utility, higher ceiling. So yeah, obviously I'm giving you guys the other side of the coin, the bull case for WLFI.
No, but those are all stupid points. Like you think that Trump is going to talk about you're going to talk about World Liberty Financial? Absolutely not.
You don't think he's gonna post a tweet on Truth Social about WLFI?
No, the best that he might do is give Eric Trump a goodnight hug. All right, that's the best he might do. But aside from posting on socials or whatever, no, he's got other shit that he's worried about. He's worried about China. He's worried about tariffs. He's worried about. There are so many other things that he's going to promote before this. And frankly,
did promote his meme coin. He did promote
before he got into office. Before he got into office, yes, that's true, right? And even then, that was a moment of unique optimism where, if you remember, we thought Trump was going to be the pro-crypto president. And to a large degree, he has been, right? So I won't deny that. He's been very, very pro-crypto. Who is this fucking guy? China hating. Can you fucking capitalize properly, you numbnut? So
what are you talking about?
Sorry. This guy in the comments is driving me nuts.
Okay.
Sorry. But
I
yeah.
think let's see. I think they might. You don't know who has access to the social account, right? Like, if Eric Trump has access to Donald's socials, he's gonna talk. He's gonna post about it.
Yeah, no, that's true. If Eric Trump has access to his socials team, that's highly possible. Then yeah, he could be posting about it. But even then, my point is that like everyone was very bullish on Trump tokens until Trump fucked up everything with Melania, or at least his team did, right? So what do you think is going to be the market reaction to another third Trump token? Is it going to be unbridled optimism like this guy supposes? I don't think so.
You've
right?
been around here for a while, You know how many tokens we had with the same fucking pattern, and they always pump and dump.
If it were true, then Yeezy would have pumped a lot higher. Yeezy is a great demonstration of where the market is at today, which is that fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, shame on you. Fool me thrice, I'm not investing in it. I'm just not, right? There's just no fooling around this time. And so some people obviously got burnt, but I mean, the max, that the Yeezy coin went up to was 3 billion, which compared to any of the other celebrity meme coins, quite small, very, very small. You would have expected much more price action.
Kanye West is an anti-Semit Nazi rapper, and Donald Trump is the US president. So let's see how it plays out. let's leave it there. I'm definitely also very critical about it, and I don't financially advise anyone to participate in anything around the World Liberty Financial saga. But I think it's worth monitoring and evaluating what happened next week when it's time for the next episode of Soul Brothers. But for today, I think we could call it a day. Do you have any last comments, last words that you want to share with people for today's show?
Yeah, where do I short World Liberty Financial?
Probably on Hyperliquid. I'm pretty sure
Hyperliquid
will be able. Yes, I'm pretty sure that they're going to be on it quite soon if they're not already. Talking about it. So you can probably short it. Yeah, similar to the Yi token when it went out. There was also on Hyperliquid quite quickly. So they obviously know that people are looking for venues to short this shit.
Yeah. All right. Well, yeah, we'll see, how this all goes. I'm fairly certain with my conclusions of how this will go because he has too many things to think about. And this token is one out of 1,000 things that people are yelling at him for. And his son is probably last on. Donald Trump has many things. A good dad is not one of them. So
you can already short it, by the way, on Hyperliquid.
I know. I will be shorting it. Trust me. Ready to make some goddamn money. Perfect.
Yep, WLFI. But just be careful because markets are very volatile when it comes to this shit. So they might pump before they dump. With that being said, guys, thank you for tuning in today for another episode. We covered a lot, and we're going to cover even more next week when it's time again for Soul Brothers Pod. Make sure to follow us on Twitter or X and YouTube and Instagram. And make sure to also listen to the pod if you are a podcast listener on Apple Podcast or Spotify. Until next week, we will wish you a successful week this time for the beginning of September. There is lots more to cover, and we will make sure to blast out content on all our channels this week. So, stay in the green and stay in the loop by following Soul Brothers. And we'll see you at the next one. Peace out, everyone.
Adios.